of
Recksieder.
I got all nervous. I got all nervous. We were talking about it.
Recksieder.
Rex Seidler,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
I had it all built up, and I was like, I'm gonna nail it first time, and then man, I screwed it up.
I
um,
always I often sign just Rex just to simplify things. So
yeah. I've seen your signature like that. So he is a fantastic artist that I've worked with previously, and we've done a few things together. And he's with the larger group that the Crom Anthology with Jamie Barrows, and
yeah,
he's got a new book. He's got a new book. But before we dive into that, let's do the trivia. I
you
would.
warned me about the trivia. It's like the thing I like. Yeah, I'm
Well,
terrible at trivia. It's like they have that saying. What is it? There was those things that are people are most afraid of, like new jobs, buying a new house. For me, like trivia is right at the
Trivia is
top.
it?
So
Well, we're gonna confront your fears. We're gonna
okay, I
confront
like
them
it.
head on, and you're gonna. Well, these are super hard ones, so I can't say that either one of us will get them right. But
My
I
nerd
guess
cred
we'll.
is going to be completely blown after this. So yeah.
Your street cred. That's actually my rap name. My rap name that I gave myself. Street
Nerd
cred,
cred.
which everybody thinks is stupid, but who cares? So we've got this obsessed with Marvel book, and part of the thing is that it's got this little electronical box here, and it tells you the page that we're going to go to, and then we got to go to 2372. I do have a Star Wars one that is not working correctly, so I'm gonna
Mm,
try to fix that. And then they have like a Star Trek and a movie one.
wow.
So, are you a Marvel DC neither guy?
I think as a kid, I was probably Marvel first,
Yeah,
and then sort of graduated over to Image
yeah, yeah,
during that whole boom. Um, but yeah, definitely Marvel. Was I collected more Marvel than DC. I think
yeah,
when the '89 Batman movie came out, I think
yeah.
that sort of opened me up to starting to buy Batman and Detective Comics and buying DC stuff.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, almost consider myself a Marvel zombie, even though
Okay.
like I'm kind of not because I love all comics, Image and DC. Really, the DC stuff though, the only stuff that I really liked was all of the Vertigo stuff. So you
Okay,
know,
right. Yeah, for me,
um,
it's like it's usually art forward. I probably would do better at
yeah.
like a penciler and inker trivia than I would actually the characters in the worlds themselves.
Oh yeah, yeah. All right, so here's your first one. In which series did the group that later became the Agents of Atlas previously appear? Well, you get four choices: Avengers Forever, What If, both A and B, or neither A or nor B.
I,
I have no clue. I have
I
no
have
clue.
no
I
clue.
think
It's almost like one of those. Can I say who cares? But
you can, but I mean, just throw a letter out. Um,
A.
A, Avengers Forever. I believe that was the Carlos Pacheco one, which is one of my favorite artists.
Hmm.
But he didn't do a whole lot of stuff. So let's see if it's A. No. Well, one of the good things and bad things about this book is the little electronic device. It goes when you get it wrong, and ding, ding,
Oh,
ding when you get it right. So you get validation when you're
dang.
right, and you get bad stuff when you're
My
when you're
worst
not
fears
right.
are coming to light.
Well, it's like I said, it's totally okay. These are super hard. So, oh, here's one. Do you know Daredevil at all?
Yeah, it's more the
Who
Frank
are
Miller era.
Well, there you go. Who are Turk and Grotto, minor
Oh,
criminals who repeatedly encounter Daredevil? B. Shades and Comanche. C. Underworld informers for Moon Knight. Or D. Stiletto and Discus.
I don't know. I don't know.
All right. Well, it's A. It's minor criminals who repeatedly encounter Daredevil.
Okay.
Um. So, ding, 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 ding. Um, so we only have one more, and then you were out of this fresh hell that
Woo!
you've gone into. I don't know if I'm gonna keep this trivia thing going. Some people love it, but some people, I don't know, might not enjoy it so much. But we're here doing comics, and it's just Marvel though. You said you think you'd do better if you were just doing artists and stuff.
I mean, 90s hockey, maybe we could talk about that.
Yeah, yeah, we could definitely do. I have a bunch of trivia books of '90s hockey. That's for
Oh, yeah.
sure. I mean, we could go hours and hours to talk about hockey. I just
Yeah.
devour the stuff. Um, with whom was Captain Marvel in love in his original series? A. Carol Danvers, B. Una, C. Elysius, or D. Lou Ann Savannah.
Don't know. Who was it?
Let's say
Carol?
A. Let's just say A. Carol
I
Danvers.
would guess Carol.
No, no, it was
Oh,
B. It was Una. So I guess we're both not so great at
yeah.
the
It's
trivia.
funny that because I remember as a kid, like when I was saying, it's usually for me, it was always attracted to the art first.
Yeah, yeah.
So as a kid, I remember I liked Garfield, I liked Archie, but I wasn't really into Marvel Comics until a friend sort of dragged me into that world. I remember he was a Marvel kid, and we went to his lake one time, and I remember him saying, "Oh, I'm gonna draw a comic book," and I was like, "You're not gonna draw a comic." He's like, "No, no, I'm gonna take the whole summer off, or the whole summer at my cabin. I'm gonna draw a comic book." And then I went up there one weekend with him and actually saw, and he like made good on his word. I was like, "What? You drew this? And I was like, "I want to do that." And he was like, "All right, well, let's go get you some comic books." And at Winnipeg Beach, which is where his cabin was, they had garage sales. And I
Yeah.
remember, so we just went out and we grabbed stacks of comic books. And in addition to the comic books, we also had they were selling like handcuffs, like, but they were like the real handcuffs, like
Yeah.
cop
Yeah.
handcuffs. So we were like, "Wow, we got to buy that too, right?" So we bought a
Well, yeah.
stack of comics and handcuffs. And when you're the first thing you do, right, is you handcuff yourselves together, and then what's the second thing you do?
It-
You lose the key. So we ended
That's
up
what you did.
we ended up handcuffed together, and we had this stack of Marvel comic books. And it was kind of like, and he could read these things. He was much more advanced than me at like reading Marvel comic books. To me, I was still looking at the like, what's the difference between the yellow box and the balloons? And like, what? I don't get. And he could rip through these things so fast that it was kind of like, it actually kind of embarrassed me. I'd be like, no, go back, because we were sitting there. We had to wait for his dad to like come in from the city with like some sort of hacksaw or something to get us loose. So we were stuck together with a stack of comics, and I'd be like, "No, no, go back, go back, go back." And he's like, "Oh man, you're taking forever. Like I'm trying to read these things." So because we were sort of stuck reading the same comic, and I remember, I think it was like my love for like the artwork sort of was born then. So I was like, forget about the words. I'm just gonna like, cause I'm just gonna like study the pictures and see if I can like make sense of what the story is just
Right.
from the pictures. And I really started like even started noticing like the lines. And I was like, if I'm gonna draw one of these too, like what are they doing? And like it's starting to notice just falling in love with like the line work and the different camera angles and the so like it kind of I came at it from a strange way, and like I think a lot of people are so absorbed in the stories and that sort of thing. I kind of like fell in love with the artwork, which was uh which was kind of my first love. It was like, oh, I just love like the style of art and drawing. And when once actually sat down and started drawing with my friend, and like I think I totally crowbarred myself into his comic world that he thought, it's like, oh, I'm good.
Yeah.
He called it the X Mutants, which was just a big
Yeah. Well,
just a
everybody
big
everybody when you're young, you rip everything off. I ripped off
that's
Galactus and Beyonder and all of the
yep,
Marvel stuff. So, you
yep.
know.
Yep, exactly right. So yeah, he did these X mutants, and I was like, "Hey, I'm inventing some characters," and he was like, "Oh, oh, okay." So we ended up kind of collaborating on this world, and it just kind of took off from there. And I specifically remember one of the comic books that he had in that stack was a Captain America annual, and it was the one where Wolverine is slashing
Yeah, yeah.
Captain
The
America's
Mike Zack.
shield
Yeah, Mike
by
Zack.
Mike Zeck, and
Yeah,
that image was just like that image gave birth to my whole love of like that that style of art and that genre of art. It was
yeah,
like, oh
yeah.
gosh, the
All right.
coolest
So,
thing
so
ever.
your first question is then, what is your favorite comic book series or single issue, and also who's your favorite artist?
Oh, favorite artist? Come on, that's impossible. I can't answer that. I mean, I guess if you had to go with like the
There's
childhood
a gun to
favorite,
your head. You got to choose.
yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean, Todd McFarlane, I'd always kind of seems to come back to Todd for me, just
Yeah,
because
yeah,
that excitement that I felt as a kid when a new Amazing Spider-Man was on the shelf, it was just yeah. I feel like every time I sit down to draw or to ink or whatever, I'm trying to tap into that. Just
yeah.
like
Oh yeah,
tap into
yeah.
that excitement.
Yeah, he's fantastic. I mean, he gets a lot of crap from a lot of artists, and like I went to the Kubert School, and I believe that
Oh
they had a like they were really ridiculing his. There's a Spider-Man cover or something where his leg is twisted backwards and stuff like that. They're crapping on his anatomy and all that stuff. And I'm
yeah,
like, who cares about that? It looks awesome. Who cares about your
yes.
your stupid anatomy or your stupid perspective or whatever, as long as it looks awesome and you're jazzed about the art, that's really what matters, I think.
Yeah, Todd was cool in that he found a way, kind of like Kirby, kind of found a way to like reinvent the anatomy. And
Yeah,
the thing that I like about Todd is that I feel like the way he draws only works in comics, and I love that about his stuff. It's like, you can't really take his Spider-Man design and like apply it to film, right? Like it doesn't, like
right.
the face is flat, like it just doesn't work. But what he does is so specific to comic books, and that's what I love about his style. And it's just it works so well in that medium.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So all right, so what about favorite comic series or individual comic? Anything that sticks out?
Hmm. I really liked Sin City as a when it came
Yeah,
out. First, when was that? 93 or something? I
uh,
really liked that.
something like that.
Yeah. Um, right now, I'm really big into Conan. I've gone back and like revisited
Yeah,
all that John Buscema stuff.
it's
So
gorgeous. It's
really
gorgeous.
enjoying. Yeah, and I just tripped on very recently. I'm really enjoying Mike Grell's Warlord. As a kid, that completely was off my radar,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I went to a comic shop and found just like a bin of like 60 of them, and for like a quarter a piece.
yeah,
And
yeah. They're
I
super
bought a
cheap.
bunch. Yeah, I bought a bunch, and like the stories are great. So,
Yeah, yeah. And
but
Mike Grell is a great artist. Oh, I mean, he
oh,
did the
so
art
good.
on those, right?
Yeah, so good, so good. The art's incredible. I he kind of has that Neil Adams look. I don't know why
Yeah,
it
yeah,
didn't click when I was a kid, but I mean, as a kid, it's like if it wasn't Todd McFarlane or Rob Liefeld or Jim Lee, you're just like, it looks old, it looks boring,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
And
not
then
dynamic enough for you.
yeah,
And
yeah, that's it. And then you get
yeah,
older and you start to appreciate like what John Buscema's doing, and it's just like, what the heck? Like nobody draws like this anymore.
yeah,
Like, it's
yeah.
just a level that's like so much higher than everyone.
Yeah, I definitely think artists go through stages or phases of when they're like if you discover something you like really want to be like when you discover Simon Bisley, you're like, oh, I got to get
Mhm.
everything Simon Bisley ever did ever. I
Totally,
love it. It's just crazy. Or
totally.
whatever awesome artist or story or writer or whatever. I think I mean most artists that I know are like they really want to get dive deep into whatever they're into. So you were talking about so you got into comics as a kid. What's your art background? And then you were saying that you left comic books. Can you kind of explain why you did?
Yeah, I was, so as a kid, loved it, got into it, was drawing comics with friends a lot. I had a friend in, yeah, I guess about grade 6, I remember we, like, would just go to each other's houses and draw. And then in, like, junior high, I met another set of friends, one in particular, and he had, like, a very dark style, and he actually swore in his comics. I was like, "Whoa, what is going on?" And, like, people were
Yeah.
getting their arms chopped off and stuff. I was like, "Whoa," you like, he opened my eye to a whole new set of, like, what comics could be. And then, it was funny, like, I kind of always loved it and always wanted to draw. About in high and I remember doing, portfolios, and I would take those to, like, local comic conventions. I'm from
Yeah.
Winnipeg, so there's pretty small, especially at that time. But a lot of the artists that would come through here in the city and local artists, they always said, like, "Well, yeah, the drawing's good, but you gotta work on your storytelling." And
Yeah.
so they
Yeah.
would cite a lot of filmmakers, and, so, talking about Francis Ford Coppola, Martin Scorsese, Steven Spielberg, and that kind of, like, sent me down a whole 'nother path of, like, getting really interested in cinema and film. And
Oh,
so I
yeah.
was sort of balancing 2 passions. And then
Yeah.
and so I would, go volunteer on whatever, like, music videos that were being shot and just trying to learn what I could about film. And then, in high school, a lot of these friends that I grew up with and we were drawing comic books with each other, they decided right after we graduated to high school, they were gonna rent an apartment and make, like, a studio. So I joined these guys for, like, 3 or 4 years, and we had, like, converted this apartment, into an art studio. We had 4 tables, and we all just, like, sat there and drew, and we had one room which was a light table room, and, it was really a cool memory now and kind of a cool experience and a great way to learn from each other. There was a
Yeah.
lot of, like, competition, but also, like, affirmation, and yeah, it was you don't know it at the time, but looking back, it was like, "Oh, man, those were the best days of my life."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Definitely.
don't know if
Definitely.
they truly are, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And, yeah, we would, like, set up tables and do Comic Cons, we were doing the whole thing. We did it really stupidly, though, like, I remember going there only presenting original artwork, and people were like, "What are you doing? Like, can we buy this?" "I'm not selling any of my
Oh,
originals." I was like, "Well,
oh, yeah.
do you have
Yeah.
do you have prints?" I was like, "What?" Like, we were
Right.
so
Right.
dumb.
So,
We are like
so you did,
19.
you didn't, make your own comic at the time and have those printed and stuff?
No, we were just doing, like, samples for Marvel and stuff like
Right.
that, and
Right.
I remember going to San Diego and, going to the Comic Con there and doing they used to give you a Vision story and doing samples for them, and, yeah, I ended up getting a job. There was a company in Winnipeg called Digital Chameleon, and,
Yeah.
they colored comic books, and
Oh, that's
so
cool.
I got a job there for about a year doing, like, digital separation. They were one of
Yeah.
the early, adopters of, like, using Photoshop and computers to color. So it was cool in the sense that I got my hands on original artboards because back then, they would send the original artboards. We would scan them, and then they'd send the artboards back.
That's
So,
crazy.
yeah, so we did, like, Deadpool and Superman and
That's
Supergirl.
awesome.
Yeah, so it was you were getting to see, a lot of original boards and kinda getting to work in the world. But, at the same time, I was really sorta, like, wasn't sure if that's what I wanted to do, and I ended up, I remember I was like, "I wanna draw comics, I don't wanna." And at the time, I'm trying to think what year that would have been, maybe '95. The industry was like it hit that '90s bubble.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
collapsed.
it hit that boom, and right when
Yeah.
I was coloring was kinda right before it all started to fall apart, but you could kinda see, like, "Hmm, things aren't quite as things weren't looking as exciting as they once were."
Yeah.
Um but I do recall I wanted to either go to film school or I wanted to, like, go work with Rob Liefeld at Extreme Studios.
Right. Yeah.
And I re
Yeah.
and I remember sending a portfolio to, Rob Liefeld and never heard anything. I was like, "Oh, well." But then I ended up getting accepted to a film school in Vancouver, and so I went there, and literally the day before I left, I got a phone call, and it was somebody, I can't remember who it was, somebody from Extreme Studios, and they said, "Hey, Mr. Liefeld saw your portfolio." I was like, "What? What's going on?" And I was like, "I am, like, leaving, like, in 2 hours to go drive for the next 2 days from, Winnipeg to Vancouver," and, they're like, I'm like, "Well, like, am I hired?" They're like, "No, you're not hired, but he just wanted us to call you to say that he liked it and he'd like to see more." And I was like, "Oh, okay, well, that's
Oh,
cool." Yeah,
that
and then
that is a divergent path in your life. That's like you go that one way and it's your life's completely different, and you go the other way and it's
yeah.
completely different. That is, yeah, that's
Yeah, it was just one of those moments where I was like, "Okay, all right, well, I'm going this way." And I remember it was like almost like breaking up with an ex-girlfriend or something. I remember there was a comic shop next to my apartment, well, when I was going to film school, and I would like look away from it and like not even go in it. I was like,
ah,
yeah, I was just like, I'm like, no, I got to focus on this other thing. I'm not doing this.
yeah.
And I sort of thought, comics will be there, and like 20 years passed and I like didn't draw a thing. I just
You just didn't draw anything at all.
yeah, I mean, maybe, sometimes storyboards. That was
Right,
like
right, right.
do. I think in like
That's
the year
that's what
two.
I was wondering, like, storyboards are basically comic books for movies, so, I mean, uh, I don't understand how, uh, did you think about just becoming a storyboard artist, or were you didn't want anything to do with that, you just wanted to do the film stuff?
Because I didn't have any real training, I think I sort of felt like I wasn't good enough to be a storyboard artist.
Oh,
Um,
man.
yeah, and then like I did do storyboards for music videos and for short films and things like that. But oh, look at that! Where'd you get that?
I got it off of your page
Oh,
there.
cool. Oh, cool. Okay, that's
You
that's
could
not
see
the
you could
real.
see Jamie's face there liking it.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, that was fun. That was for the Crom. What
Yeah,
issue? Crom number
uh,
Triple
2?
Blade of Crom 2, was it?
I think
Yeah.
it's 2.
Or did I make it into 3? Yeah, I can't remember. But yeah, that was a fun one. But yeah, so I went that other direction, went 20 years without, and then I had kids and stuff like that. I
Yeah,
started drawing like birthday cards for them, and I was posting them on Instagram, and suddenly people were like, "Hey, like, what's going on? Like,
right, yeah,
what are you doing? Like, we didn't know you could do that." And I was like, "Yeah, I guess I kind of forgot I could. This was actually kind of fun." So I started like doing more drawings, and I've set a little some rules for myself, and I thought, okay, I'm going to if I draw something, I'm going to make sure I finish it, because I had this horrible habit when I was younger of like, you'd start to draw something, then you'd f up the hand or you'd f up the
yeah, yeah,
something, you just kind of you would abort, right? It'd be like, I don't
yeah,
know, I got that wrong. It's like, "Yeah, I'll just leave it unfinished." And it's so much unfinished stuff. And I thought, okay, I'm going to approach this in a new way. I've got a different approach now than I did when I was younger. I'm older. One, I'm going to make sure that I have fun with it. This is a fun thing.
yeah,
So, and the other thing is, I'm going to make sure that I finish whatever I do. So I just started posting pictures, and it was really illuminating for me to make sure that I finished the drawing, because you realize that like the the greater picture is, more than the sum of its parts. It's like you can draw Spider-Man, and you might get the hand wrong, you might get the foreshortening wrong, you might get the anatomy wrong, but at the end of the day, if he's red and black and he's swinging through the air, like people are like, "Oh,
yeah,
cool, Spider," right? And they'll recognize
yeah.
it. And I started getting like a little bit of like people were liking it and noticing it on social media. So, uh,
Yeah, it's the new modern social media is so much like I had this question from a friend of mine that was like, "Oh man, you drew back in the 90s. It must have been so awesome back then." And I'm like, "No, you sat in your room and you drew and then you sent it somewhere maybe or you showed some people maybe and they, your family or whatever and they would be like, "Yeah, that's cool." But now, you post it and like you get 50 or 60 likes or you get automatic gratification for what you're doing and it's fantastic. It's almost always
Yeah.
positive too.
Yeah, I hate, it's like there's so much to despise about social media, but I have to say for myself, and for like the illustration, it's been very positive for me.
Yeah.
Like, uh, it kind of sparked a whole new trajectory of like what I was going to do, because when you have kids, I actually as like going into film and stuff like that, and working for production companies, I did spend some time making my own films, and I did write screenplays. I remember getting a
Yeah.
in Canada they have a grant system, and I remember getting a grant to write a screenplay, and I had two young kids, and so the only time that I could find to like sit down and do this was like I would set my alarm for like 4 in the morning, and I would just
Yeah.
sit there and
Yeah.
just like stare at this blank page, just being like, what the heck? And just writing garbage, right? And the amount of like time that it required to put into that, I just thought, you know what, I like this just isn't working, and so I kind of need, I need to hang this up and just like focus on the family and stuff like that. But drawing was something I could sort of, it's kind of became that other outlet where I
Yeah.
was like, okay, it's not a screenplay where it's going to take me 2 years. It's not a film where it's gonna, I need to get money, I need to get people, I need to like, I can actually do a drawing, and oh, I can actually post it and maybe get a few people saying, "Hey, cool, yeah, hey, I like this," and just get that little, and it's like, I don't know why we need that gratification in our lives, but
It's
as
it's
creative
in every
people,
artist. Every
it,
artist needs it, at least some.
I know, and I don't know if it's a flaw or if it's just what helps us, drives us to do the next thing, or what it is. But yeah, it was nice, and it was like cool because after
Yeah.
contacted me and was like, "Hey, we noticed what you're doing. Would you want to do some sketch cards with Marvel characters?" And I mean, from going to not like doing nothing,
Yeah.
to suddenly having, I mean, they don't pay you anything, so it's not anything like, it's not like, oh yay, my life's made now. I'm gonna like they pay nothing, but
Huh.
it was kind of like bragging rights. It's like I remember the
Yeah.
first time like drawing a sketch of like the Punisher and like going like, wow, like I just did a thing of the Punisher, which is like
Yeah.
officially sanctioned by Marvel. And I just remember like 13-year-old me would just be like,
Yeah, that's awesome. That's like a lot of people's dreams.
yeah, it was super cool. So, and it was like without Instagram, without social media, without getting the images out there, and also I think without actually like convincing myself to complete images and not to
Yeah.
get too hung up on like the drawing of it and making it
Yeah.
perfect, and
Yeah.
like, just go out, have fun, finish it. And yeah, so I did a bunch of those cards, and it was fun.
Uh, are you still doing some? Are you,
No, I
no?
haven't done them in a long time.
Yeah.
At some point, maybe I might consider it again, but honestly, like, yeah, you really are doing them for just for fun.
Right,
So,
right. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It sounds like you're a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to your art. Would you say that? And do you think
No.
that's been a downfall?
No, you know what? I wouldn't call my it's a funny thing because I'm sure if my wife heard you say I'm a perfectionist, she would be laughing her head off right now because
Well,
I'm
you can
I'm
be
I'm very,
yeah,
I'm very
yeah.
much
I
a
mean,
good
you
enough
can be
guy.
a perfectionist on your art and not on other stuff. That's for certain.
Yes. Yeah. I think maybe at one time I was. I don't know if it was perfectionist as much as like just down, not just down on my own work, like my
Yeah,
biggest critic,
yeah,
right? So I don't know if
yeah.
it's so much uh me being a perfectionist as much as me being, oh, I suck, I'm not good, I'm this.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
like in my more mature years, I knew I needed to just stomp that stuff to the ground and be like, you can't sit here and just beat yourself up. You have to just draw, and you just have to have fun with it and just go.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, definitely. I don't know if you were part of the random access chat, but for a little while, a few months ago, like every morning, I was like, I'm gonna make great art. I'm gonna make great comics. Everything is gonna be awesome. I'm a great artist. It was like a daily affirmation as to trying to do something great because that's often how it is, um, psychologically and emotionally or whatever. If you try to convince yourself that you're doing better or whatever, you often can just be better. It's sometimes it's just taking that little extra step. But yeah, that's a huge, great topic that the psychology of an emotionality. I don't know if that's a word, but of being an artist because we all struggle with it, and oftentimes we go through these bad periods where you just don't want to create anything, and then other times you're like really into your artwork and you really think something's great. So yeah, I
I would
totally
say that's
understand that.
definitely true for me in that it seems to come in waves.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, and I know. And you were talking about storyboards. I did end up. I did a series not that long ago for about 3 seasons on an animation. It was called Chums, and I did the storyboards for them. And initially, it was just like, "Oh, this is great! I get to draw, and I'm getting paid to get to draw, and this isn't this wonderful."
yeah,
By like season 3, like I was finding it so hard. I was just
yeah,
like,
yeah,
this is just so hard. And after that, I found it really difficult to just draw anything. Which is probably why like this book, like Gabe and I, that was the beauty of like working with Gabe and sort of the motivation of working with him is because I knew if I were to undertake everything myself, it's like, okay, I've got a lot going on right now.
yeah, yeah,
And so how do we actually get a book? And it's like we can sort of collaborate, and I know that the two of us will have more likely a chance to get something actually completed and done than if I
hmm
were to just do it myself. Like doing 6 pages here, 6 pages there is fine, but to sit down and do like let's do a 30-page thing, it was like at the beginning was a little bit daunting, but it did
yeah,
take a long
yeah.
time. Like I think
All right, so let's back up a little bit. So the book, what's the book you're talking about? It's
oh,
Battlestar Barbarian.
Battlestar Barbarian.
Right, right.
So
Awesome.
this was a
I got mine coming.
collaboration. Sorry.
I have mine coming in the mail. I hope.
Yeah, so this was a collaboration. Probably speaking of Instagram and connecting with people, I connected with Gabe Ostley.
Yep.
I can't remember how he saw my work or whatever, but we sort of became Instagram friends, and he eventually asked if I would be interested in inking a book. I think it was called Irregular Shop.
Yep.
Shane Lewis was the writer, and Gabe penciled it. And he sent me his original boards, and I inked them. And we sort of worked back and forth, and we sort of clicked and just got along really well. And then he had this other project. I think it was called Battle Axe. Tom, shoot, I forget his last name. Tom something. Again, he did the pencils, I did the inks, and we were just having so much fun together. And then he did this Ninja Turtles. It was like called actually was featured on Cartoonist Kayfabe.
Was that the under not the underage? Uh, yeah, yeah,
No,
something like that. It's middle age.
mid age.
You, yeah,
Middle midlife crisis turtles or something. It
yeah,
was something
yeah.
along
That
those
was
lines.
actually my idea.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, but I was like, yeah, this is awesome idea. And but then I never put anything in the book.
Ah.
Yeah, because we were
That's
part of the a chat called the Toilet Crew, and we all
okay. 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 Okay.
did weird
That's fun.
stuff.
See, I just got dragged in through Gabe because he was like, "Hey, I did these Ninja Turtle pages. Do you want to ink them?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, let's do it." And so, yeah, we just kind of had a fun, and it was a really fun mesh of styles because he's much more cartoony than I am, and and I found that just um with like having kids and having work and full-time job and trying to balance life and everything, I found that being able to ink, I still
Yeah,
got that kind of output, but like you can watch a movie in ink, right? Like you're not having to think about the story as much. You're not having
yeah,
to
yeah,
design as much. So Gabe does all the heavy lifting there. Um, and then we had this sort of chat back and forth. At that time, I think he was living in Shanghai, and we started chatting like, man, we should really like do something like something longer. And so we started saying, wouldn't it be funny if? And that's kind of how Battlestar Barbarian got was given birth. It was just
right,
messages back and forth, back and forth. I think he had the idea that, why don't we do Conan? So we did 3 pages of Conan, and then we thought, what if we go a little bit further? And he thought, I always wanted to put Conan in space. I thought, oh, great. So we would just chat back and forth, coming up with ideas, coming up with
yeah, yeah,
story concepts. And then he would send me like really rough thumbnails. And then I would take his thumbnails and rework them and be like, oh, what if we changed this? And what if we made this shot bigger? Mostly I was kind of like, how do we make this more like an image comic? How do we make that? Like just make it bigger, and then Gabe would then come back with, okay, well then we can, we can. I would send me pretty finished pencils. Some pages were more finished than others, um, and then I would take those pencils and I would scan them in, and yeah, then I would just kind of work the heck out of them. Sometimes I'd flip images, sometimes I'd stretch images, but for the most part, I would try and stick to what he did, and then just kind of add my own flair. And then I went in over top of that with a very rough dialogue bubbles and stuff. And
yeah.
then he was the final letterer, so he went in and made some changes. So it we
So
truly
who,
each
who actually wrote it?
both of us.
Like he did he start it and then you finish it and then he extra finishes it, that kind of thing?
Yeah, so it started with a direct messages back and forth. Okay, page
No,
one,
okay.
page two, page three, page four, page five. That this is going to happen, that's going to happen, and we'd go back and forth until we
Right, right.
agreed on something, and then he sent the thumbnails, and then I tweaked his thumbnails. Mostly, I think for the most part, it was just like I say, it was just like, let's make this a double page spread.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
switch this to over here, that kind of thing. Then he would come back with pencils, and then I went in with rough dialogue, and then he kind of went over top and was like, he kept some of it, changed some of it. So at
yeah,
the end of the
yeah,
day, half the dialogue's probably mine, half's his. And it was almost like an Eastman. I think it might have been something similar to how Eastman and Laird worked, because we truly had our hands in every step of the process. It was so at the end of the day, we really were like, okay, so 50-50. And he's like, oh yeah,
yeah,
all right, let's go.
yeah.
So
That's cool. I have one other question. Like, I really like it, but what is up with the orange?
orange.
Yeah, the orange on your, like, there's orange here and orange here. Was that like a um special thing that you're thinking of doing? Like, it's not, it's just the orange background.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's just it also it depends on your printer. Like my printer shows up red, but then it's supposed the yellow is like a little bit more on the green side, which I'm not.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it depends on the printer. Like Gabe's his prints, cuz he's printing his from a different printer than I am.
Yeah.
So we're sort of like trying to conquer from he's from the US, I'm in Canada. So we're sort
Yeah.
of trying to conquer the globe. But he has I've noticed that his colors on his cover are much more saturated than mine. There's the yellow is really, a deeper yellow and the red's a deeper red.
Yeah.
Um, I think that yeah, I think on my printer, I'm not sure where you got that image, but it shows up a little bit more orange.
Yeah, I just got this off of your Instagram page and then
Oh,
printed it
got it.
off on mine.
Yeah.
So getting your book together and you have it all together and everything, and you're did you send it to printer to publishers?
No, we didn't. We just decided that we were gonna print it ourselves and just sell it.
Is there a reason, like your stuff is fantastic and his stuff is fantastic. You're both like super professional quality artists. I'm just, a publisher, if you sent it to a publisher, I can't see any publisher turning it down, a bad cave or whatever. Did
Mm.
you never even thought about sending it to anybody?
I don't know what I'm doing. so, so where were you 2 months ago?
Well, I
we
remember you talking on the chat about how what you thought, what everybody thought you could do to, get it out there and stuff. And I remember saying, you could either do a Kickstarter or you could do this or whatever. And
yeah.
do you do you think that is not sending it to a publisher or even having a publisher look at it? Is you think that is part of your emotional thing of maybe you don't think it's good enough?
No, I think if I was younger, my younger me would be like, "Oh no, it's not good." I hope it's not that, but no, I think it's a good question. I don't know if I've really thought about it. I think for me, we just had it was something that was fun that the both of us wanted to do, and we actually got it done. And we thought, "Hey, this is something we could print up and sell at cons." I haven't done a con in 25 years, and I thought, oh,
Right.
wouldn't it be fun to actually set up a booth and have an actual book to sell. And so that's kind of where I was at. I did briefly talk to a company that was offered to publish it. It was kind of about by accident. I was actually looking for a printer, and then they said, "Oh, well, we do print, but actually we also publish. So if you'd be interested,
Yeah.
we can." And they just started saying all the stuff that I'm not. I've never made a book before, so I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. But they
Yeah.
were making all these promises to get it into bookstores and get it onto Amazon and all this stuff. But it was going to cost an
No, it's gonna
initial
cost you.
fee. Yeah,
Right.
so well, I don't know about that. And then they said,
No,
"Oh,
you
but
should disregard them.
I spoke to another creator, and he was
Yeah,
like, "Yeah, do not do
yeah,
that." So
yeah. They pay you. You don't pay them. That's
yeah,
just.
yeah,
But I
yeah.
I would definitely recommend you send it to some publishers. Maybe just Google, a few publishers because it's fantastic work. And you guys sold out of the first print run. Is that right?
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, we did. It wasn't that we sold out a first print run. It was just that the copies weren't coming in as fast as we could.
Right, right, right.
So it's not like there's a print volume one or volume two. It's just uh, so in fact, I just got mine yesterday, so I was kind of excited to open the box. I got my next
Right.
batch.
Yeah. Yeah. Who
So
who do you who did you print them with?
I went with Mixum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a Canadian printing place?
Yeah, and they're quite good. The
Mhm.
quality's great. And then I don't have to worry too much about um broker and shipping across the border and all
You're
that.
right. Yeah, yeah, that's a
Uh,
pain.
yeah, yeah, no, like the print quality is really, I'm really happy with it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
the there's some images there. I don't know if you can see.
yeah, yeah, it's
I
fantastic.
the only thing, my only complaints were things that later, when I was speaking to one of their people, were just like oversights by me. Like there was in the first run, there was in both runs actually the color printed different than what it was on my screen. But I guess
Yeah, yeah,
there actually a way to check that before it goes out, and
Yeah.
I just didn't know that, so I'll be
Yeah.
smarter
Yeah.
next time.
Like, I think Comics Wellspring will send you a copy to check and make sure. That's who I used the first time I did, well, not the first time, but one of the times I did a Mutandis comic in two 2020, I think. And I recommend them. They're quite good.
What
But
are they called?
Comics Wellspring,
Wellspring, okay.
yeah, they're
Yeah,
probably
I
the
like
biggest printer for
like that. I
comics.
like the, that was my one complaint actually, was like, I would have liked to have just one sent to me, like a proof copy. It's like,
Yeah,
how hard, like, if I'm gonna order a bunch and I can approve it, I would have flagged that right away. It's like, no, these colors are off. They're not off by enough that makes me completely crazy, but
yeah, yeah. That's your perfectionist in you.
maybe a
um,
little.
what about a Kickstarter? Had you guys discussed doing a Kickstarter? Because that would
I
give you
would
the
love
funds to print stuff out.
Yeah, I would love to do a Kickstarter. To be honest with you, the only thing with Kickstarter is I'm not sure how it would work with Gabe being in the US and me being in Canada. I
Yeah,
just don't know those dynamics where, like, I don't know how that would look.
yeah.
Um
I
in
think
ter-
I think just one of you would run it, and then you would have to trust the other one, or you could up with some kind of contract, I guess. But yeah, probably Gabe would be better to being in the U.S. because there's a little bit bigger market
Oh
and
yeah.
stuff.
I noticed it right away. Like the majority of the requests are coming. Like there's some from UK and Australia and stuff, which is really cool. I had one from Korea, which was like, whoa,
Yeah,
what?
yeah,
But yeah, the majority is from the US. I have more people from the US than Canada for sure, like
yeah,
asking for books. Yeah.
yeah. And then you send them to Gabe. Say, get them from Gabe.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing. I'm
Yeah,
for the most part, I'm trying to see if I can help him out because I know that's why uh, he sold out right away because I was like, "Okay, I got
yeah,
another one. I got
yeah,
another one. I got another one." But
yeah, yeah,
it's just right now things are tricky at the border, so
yeah.
um,
Oh yeah, yeah. Um, so um, one of the things, like if you're not going to do if you're not, you should have done a Kickstarter probably. I mean, that is a lot of pros and cons with Kickstarters, but also
yeah,
like to get a copy, people have to contact you or Gabe, right? Like on
that's
Instagram
right.
or whatever.
That's right. Right now, that's the only way. I'm not. I'm Gabe and I probably need to figure out if we do like a website or something just to make that process a little
I
easier.
I was gonna say a website, like so many people won't, like, I don't know if it's shyness or they don't want to go through the trouble of actually contacting, the person or whatever. But I have super found out that if you have a website, people are way, way more inclined to buy your book.
Interesting. Yeah, and that kind of makes sense. Yeah, yeah.
But
I've heard too. There's something about just the sub not the subculture, the subconscious um, relationship to Instagram, where people get into scroll mode.
yeah,
And
yeah,
so and so they just kinda get into a rhythm of, like, okay, seeing that, "Oh, cool, that looks cool," double tap, "Okay, that looks cool," and people aren't really in purchasing mode, and then so to disrupt that rhythm is tough, and I've heard other artists say that, that's why they'll do Patreon or they'll do other things, because to actually get patronage through Instagram is difficult because people typically
yeah,
don't go to
yeah,
Instagram to buy. They go to like
right.
decompress, they go to just like whatever they do, but it's not necessarily a place where they go to consume or to purchase, right?
Right,
So,
right. Well, I think that a majority of it is just shyness or
mm,
hesitancy to, like, there's a ton of artists that just don't communicate with each other because they're like shy and they
mm,
think they're going to be rejected or whatever. I found out that as soon as I started reaching out to people, like my network of other artists and that became friends and stuff increased so much. You can't wait for somebody to contact you. You have to go out and actually,
Mm.
you know, integrate your own artwork and stuff onto Instagram or whatever. Um,
It
but
is funny you should say that because there was a couple people that I wanted to have a copy.
yeah,
So I just reached out to them kind of again, like being shy on myself, like, oh boy, I don't want to bug them. But hey, just so you know, I have one of these and we only have a few left. Like, would you maybe want one? And like boom, right away, like, yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
was like, oh, okay. So and then they were like, thank you for reaching out. And I was like, oh, like you're thanking me for sending you something? It's like,
you're
okay.
right, you're right.
So yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's right. But yeah, Gabe and I'll have to discuss that about maybe putting them on a website of some sort and trying to.
yeah.
I've had two comic shops contact me through Instagram, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. A lot of people will, contact you and want to work with you on doing stuff. But I guess it's all depends on how much, like as artists, we have to market ourselves, and that's a lot of artists are horrible at that. I know I'm not really good at it. Like um, I'm super shy in person. I know it doesn't seem like here, but I'm super shy. So I go to a convention and I'm like, don't know what to do with myself. Or going to a comic book store and I don't really want to talk to anybody or whatever. So marketing is super hard for a lot of artists. So I kind of feel like they fall between the cracks of a lot of stuff that
yeah,
they could have done, but they just don't because of their shyness or whatever.
yeah. I know that I haven't actually met Gabe in person, but we've certainly interacted, and he seems like much more extroverted than me.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe we can utilize that.
Yeah, 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 definitely. So I guess when you decide to either do your next issue or more of this issue, print out more of this issue, whatever, I guess you'll just have to decide how much of the marketing, because getting a publisher, you don't have to do any of that stuff, obviously. Um, so I guess you would just have to decide whether you want to try to push it onto a publisher or do it yourself. There's definitely pros and cons to doing both of those. Um,
Did you do all your books through Kickstarter or?
no, I did a Mutandis because I was kind of like you. I did comics back in the '90s, and then I didn't stop. I always kept drawing and stuff, but I didn't have the social media and stuff to have any kind of feedback or whatever. And then so in 2020, I got contacted and they were like, "Hey, did you do me canvas?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I did. Is this Marvel? Do you guys want to buy? You guys want to buy me canvas?" And but it wasn't. It was just some people interested in my work, and so it was bizarre to have fans of my stuff, but that was enough to kickstart doing other stuff. You know,
Mm.
so it's kind of like that. Um, so is there
For
going to
me, I
be
know that's that was the beauty of. So they, you said they didn't go through. How did they contact you?
It was Facebook, I think. It was
Facebook.
the, Power Comics guys.
Okay,
I
cool.
don't know if you've ever heard of them. They had, like, a YouTube show and,
Okay,
a bunch of fans. So they contacted me, and it, like, started a whole new thing because I wasn't gonna stop doing comics, but I was starting to do 3D animation. So I was kind of, headed in that direction when they contacted me. So
yeah.
that was got me back into doing the comics and then got the ball rolling of all the stuff that I've been doing. So
That was for me the. What's that?
are you guys gonna do another issue
That's
2?
the. Yeah, I mean that's the discussion. We haven't really. We've Gabe's done a little bit of penciling for the cover. I think it's in the. It's actually at here. This is the. We have a little tease at the back of the book here. So those are his pencils
That's
there.
awesome. That's wicked
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
That was another question. I kind of had the feeling that you were a digital artist only when
yeah.
because you inked. my page here of
Yeah.
the Crom stuff,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it was all digitally done.
yeah.
Um, so do you just do both, or do you like one over the other?
Oh, digital's kind of taken over as the way to go. In fact, I've just recently started going back and doing some more traditional, and it's like, yeah, I find it so hard. I found some pages from a long time ago, and I had actually penciled it. It's about 20 pages, so I need to finish it. Maybe 20, maybe four more pages. And I found this character. At that time, he had a different name, but he's Fiend Stomper, I think is.
Bean Stomper?
Yeah, it's almost like a parody on like Lobo, which is funny because Lobo is a parody. So, but yeah,
This is one of your characters that you created?
yeah,
Yeah.
and I had done these 20 some pages, and I scanned them, and I plan on inking them digitally, but I just have the original boards sitting on my desk, and occasionally I'll just take like a quill and mess around, just kind of like practice with some ink and a quill, and it's like, holy smokes, this is.
You don't like it? See,
It's not that I
I'm the
don't like it.
opposite.
It's I love it. It's just so I find it so difficult. Like it's like it takes so much energy.
Huh, huh.
We're not to screw up, right? Whereas digital, it's like you have that eraser in your back pocket
That's
all the.
that's very true. See, I'm the opposite. I don't like the feeling of the pen on the glass or whatever of the
Yeah.
tablet that I'm working on. So that's basically why I do stuff physically.
So for me, like it's weird because I was away from it for so long. Um, when I came back to it, it really was. I came back to it with the iPad. It was like I was doing some drawing traditionally, but I hopped in onto the digital thing very quickly, and it all took off for me. I would say once I did that and I was super hesitant because they're expensive, and I think a couple of storyboard jobs and whatnot popped up, it like paid for itself very quickly.
Yeah,
I did
yeah,
For me, it was more a storyboard thing because I did a storyboard job, um, traditionally, and, it was just as like, that's the worst because you have, like, clients for I think it was a commercial, they'll have
yeah,
1,000 and
yeah, yeah, yeah,
before you know it, when you're doing it traditionally, you're like, "Holy smokes, like, this is what am I thinking?" So, I had to go out and get a iPad and just change the whole game for me. Um
So
and it allowed me to do things like I ended up doing some inking with Rob Liefeld, and I feel like that was because of the digital tool. Like I didn't have to wait for boards or anything. He could just send his scans of his pencils, and I could, go in over top. And if there was any adjustments or anything that he wanted, it was easier to do, right? I didn't have to like
yeah,
then
yeah.
send back the board or anything. So that was
Right, right, right.
yeah, it kind of changed. But I do hear what you're saying. There is nothing can for me the biggest drawback is I love seeing original artboards.
Yeah,
And there's
yeah,
something about that ink on that paper and seeing the pencil underneath. Like there's just something about it that's just so I just love it, right? And
yeah,
so when you don't have that at the end of the day, I think that's part of the reason why I was really wanting to print a book because I'm like, I just need something tangible that I can hold because
yeah, yeah.
doing so much digital work.
Especially when you like you read a comic or whatever, and then you see the original art, and you're like, oh man, this is way more detailed than the printed page. Or you're like, oh, they whited this part out, and they blacked over this part, or this is a total mess. It adds a whole nother dimension to what you are enjoying.
Exactly right. And it's like emotionally you respond to it differently. You can see the same page, the original artboard, and then the colored or the finished product, and they just feel so different, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like two different it's the same work, but two different experiences.
yeah,
So
yeah, definitely. All right, so we're at an hour, and I'll let you get back to your work. So are you're an editor, or you were a
No, no, I work at a production company. I wear a lot of hats.
yeah,
I work at a it's called Frank Digital, and I work in I do some cinematography. I've done some directing for commercials and corporate stuff.
yeah,
Some documentary work as a cinematographer. I also work in the rentals, looking after gear, camera gear, and lighting
yeah,
gear and stuff like that. Also hiring crews. If we're not going to go out and shoot, we will often hire a crew to go out and shoot. So that's kind of the day job. Also, like in the past, I've done storyboards for the company because the production
right.
company does a little bit of everything. So um, I've been fortunate in that, my employers were kind of like, "Oh, hey, you like to draw? Want to do storyboards?" so,
Right,
uh,
right. That's cool. So, I would love to have you back. We could talk about storyboards and all of this stuff so much. I feel like, and hockey. We could always
yeah,
talk about that too. But I'm gonna put a post in the description. I'll have yours and I'll have Gabe's, and just your Instagram. Would that be good, or do you have like an email that people would want to contact
yeah. I
you?
think
Or
for right, Instagram would be great because then
okay.
we can forward them on.
Okay,
Don't
okay, awesome.
forget.
Yeah, awesome, so I'll
Are you
post those.
having? You said you're gonna have Gabe on?
I would love to. I haven't talked to him about it yet, but I
Oh,
would love to. That would be
you got
fantastic.
Gabe on too.
Awesome. So, thanks a lot for, joining me, and, I would love to have you back at some point.
Oh yeah, thanks, man. This was super fun. I was actually not nearly as dreadful as I thought it would be, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, I always think of, the first time I was on the Power Comic Show, because they have like 1,500 subscribers or something like that. I was like
Oh,
super nervous and all.
yeah,
I was like, oh, this is the worst. But then as soon as I'm like, these are just a couple of comic book nerds, and we're just talking comic book stuff, and that's how I feel whenever somebody comes on. I'm like, hey, it's just a comic book guy, and we're talking comic books. How can that possibly go wrong? So
yeah, exactly.
that's how I
Kind of
think of it.
kind of forget about it after a while, but yeah, I
Yeah,
appreciate your insight too. On I'll have to pick your brain a little bit more about that later, and
yeah, definitely.
more about how you got your books out the door and noticed and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So again, thanks for joining me,
Thank you.
and we'll talk again.
Awesome, thanks.